What's going on, everyone? This is Tyler with Crystal Beast TCG, and with today's video I thought I would do a little deck review between my deck and the deck that my son is using as we are battling it out against each other multiple times a week. But just to give you a little history with this, I mean, Pokemon is such a fun game to play, and obviously you have the collectors who are just trying to collect all the different kinds of cards, which by all means that does. I mean, my son loves to do that as well. I like to do that as well with him. You have the investors, but then I think it's also important to acknowledge those who are actually playing the game on a regular basis. So the trainers, and so I just want to take this time to like kind of walk through what I've done with my son so far, and then walk through the decks that I have. So I will put a picture here of the first battle, or my first battle deck. That is the deck that, or the set that we started playing out with. It is an extremely simple set. So if you are thinking about playing Pokemon with your kids, that's the set to go with. Like, this set is super easy to understand. It's super easy to get a feel for what is actually going on with the game, to understand what to do next with the energies and how the Pokemon feed off those energies to be able to use their attacks. So if you are starting off, I highly recommend getting that My First Battle. From there, we moved over to Battle Academy. That was that next step. Full-size decks with those ones, and you're now walking through the main rules for the gameplay. So that's from that point. Like we've battled it out quite a bit with the Armarouge and the Pikachu decks in there, and as he got more and more advanced with and understood what was going on, we moved him into the Darkrai deck that was in there. Of course, I was still beating him from time to time, but you know, it was fun. We both had fun. We both were playing with each. We're both playing, but I mean, if you're a dad with sons, you should understand that sometimes you don't let them win. Sometimes you just gotta win, or all the times you just win because you want you want to show them who's boss. But hey, you know what? That's just good old dad fun with the kids. Nothing serious about it. It's just dads and sons. That's how we do it. So, but yeah. So he's been playing with the Armarouge deck, and then the Darkrai deck against Armarouge and Pikachu deck, and so we're battling out that way. And at one point, we eventually just bought an EX deck. We thought it would be cool to see what we could do with an EX deck. And so once we got that new deck, I didn't let him start playing with that deck initially. I actually have been using that deck ever since we opened it up. Not because I'm mean, but because I want him to be able to learn how to put together strategy to beat this particular deck. And so with that, like I told him, that once he beats me, he's able to start using this deck now. So that's been his challenge ever since. So I just want to show you a little review of the deck that I have here. So again, Tapu Koko, that's the main card this deck is built around. It's a full electric deck. Everything in this deck is built around electricity. So the cards that I usually use in this, the ones that I'm focusing on, is the Yamper and Boltund initially, just to start piling out the energies onto my Pokemon that are on my bench. Then the other cards that I will use is Bellibolt. Bellibolt is a great one. It's an easy Pokemon to get up and going as a stage 1, and it's there's a few of them in this deck, so I can get a few of them out pretty quickly to be able to start piling in all of those energies with Boltund. And then Tapu Koko, of course, comes in towards the end, and I'll try to pile him up with a bunch of energies as well. So I always try to tell him, my son, if I get Boltund out, you need to get Boltund off of the playing field, because I'm just going to keep racking up all of those energies. Now, this deck also has a lot of trainers in it, so you're going to have a lot of the items like Nest Balls, Great Balls, and then with the supporters as well, you have Youngster, Nemona, and then there is another one in here, another two, I should say, Rika and Jock. And Jock is a great one to use in this deck because I can look and find those evolutions in it and get all my basics evolved, because most of the set has evolutions in it. There's only a few just basics throughout it that are useful. So quickly grabbing those, using those items to be able to get my bench up to speed. Whenever he lost to me multiple times, and with losing to me, he wants to figure out how to beat me. That's his ultimate goal. How do you beat Dad? And so this was the perfect opportunity for me to point out what weaknesses are. How do weaknesses impact the game? So starting off with this card and with Tapu Koko, the weakness being fighting, and that is honestly the common weakness for any electric Pokemon. I told him, hey, let's go and look at the cards that you have in your bulk and see what we can do with it. Because he was wanting to buy a deck. I was not going to be buying him another deck to battle with, especially since we had so many Pokemon cards already at our house. I was like, let's go and build a deck out. So that is what we did. So with that other deck that we decided to spend some time and put together, this is what we came up with. His main Pokemon that he was focusing on for this was the Koraidon EX. So everything that we were working on was trying to build around this, though this is the first time that we've ever built a deck. So cut us a little bit of slack here, though. This was definitely a fun experience for the two of us. So with the Koraidon EX, I wanted to make sure he had the right cards in this deck, and we focused it all around fighting because the design was to defeat the Tapu Koko deck. So every Pokemon in here is fighting. So just to give you that idea, or give you a little short breakdown of what's in here, we found a Hitmonchan, then the Sudowoodo, and Paldean Tauros, and Stojourner for just the basics that were powerhouse Pokemon that were strong for him to have on his bench right out the gate and start battling with. So I felt like it was important to have a few of them that are just basics that had a bit of power behind them and a bit of a HP behind them. So from there were some stage 1 evolutions. So I don't think we got into any stage 2 evolutions in this deck, but we was all stage 1. So Mankeys, 3 Mankeys and 2 Primeapes. These are definitely easy ones to just have a bunch of powerhouse hits against the Tapu Koko deck, because you have 70 damage and then multiply it by 2, because all of them are twice as weak to fighting. Multiply that by 2 and you're just knocking my Pokemon out left and right. So these are some core ones that I want him to be focusing on, that I'll be having him focus on when it comes to battling. But these are ones that I was happy to put in his deck, just watch him try to just knock out my Pokemon constantly. And then Nacli, I'm going to pronounce it probably wrong. I have honestly not too familiar with Nacli or Knacklestack. But just 2 of those as decent basic Pokemon, but then getting Knacklestack in there so that it can just really just wreck through all of my Pokemon. Then from there, Larvitar and Pupitars. Probably not the best ones in this whole set. Probably the best ones to put in here, but we're filling in with the cards and need some stage 1s in there. So obviously it's still double damage, but these are probably the least useful ones in this whole set. And then Phanpy and Donphan. Well, Phanpy and Donphan they're just fun Pokemon in general. Nostalgic for me, playing a gold and silver and crystals, but definitely fun one. Definitely ones that don't get much use at all within our battling at the moment. But now these get a lot of play. Glimets and Glimmora. He just likes to poison my Pokemon with Glimmora, so he will do whatever he can to get Glimet and Glimmora as soon as possible, so that he can start poisoning my Pokemon. Definitely not the best strategy, but you know what? He's going to do what he's going to do, and he just likes to put that poison token on my Pokemon and just watch their HP drop lower and lower after every turn. And then Diglett and Dugtrio. Once he gets a Dugtrio out there, like that, again, another Pokemon that just started knocking out Pokemon left and right, even with just 2 energy on it. So try to give him as much as you could so you can, with those Pokemon, so you can easily knock them out. And then we have our trainers here. Now with our trainers, I gave him a lot of trainers that were, or put a lot of trainers in here that he was already familiar with. So as you see, youngsters, 3 youngsters in there, 3 Nemonas, and then a couple of Nest Balls, a couple of Great Balls, and Jock. So these are all trainers that he is already super familiar with from the decks that he's been playing. So I want to make sure I gave him training cards that he was familiar with so he knew what to do with them, so he's not constantly having to read every single card over and over again. So I set those as a majority in there. But then, of course, we picked out a few other ones in here that would be useful to him, and ones that he also just wanted to put in there because he liked them. But energy searching and superior energy retrieval and energy sticker, just different ways for him to get energies, whether it's from the discard pile or from his deck, or I know from Vessel as well. Sorry, missed that one in there. But then more ways for him to also draw cards with Miriam. And then he honestly just wanted Giovanni's Charisma and Clavel into his deck. So whether or not they're really useful for him, not as much, but he likes to play them whenever he gets them. So that's what this is really about, him enjoying it. So those are his different trainer cards that he has. And then from there, bunch of new, bunch of old energies. So yeah. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on the deck, what you would change with the deck, what would you think we should add to it so that he can beat me a lot quicker with this deck. So I'll appreciate the time, and I look forward to talking to you all again in the next video.